Hi, my name is Jennifer Gillespie, and today I'm going to talk to you about why I decided to do the 90-Day Health Challenge. First of all, I am a mom of 6 kids, and I've had 6 C-sections. In November of 2010, I was getting ready to deliver my last child, and he was one of 3 children that I had within 3 years of each other. For some reason, when I get pregnant, I have a tendency to gain a lot of weight. And with this pregnancy, it was no different. I didn't really have a lot of time to recover between each pregnancy. And so when I got pregnant with Creed, that's his name, I just really was overweight. I was miserable, and I didn't have a chance to let my body recover from that. So my doctors were really concerned. They were concerned, before I got pregnant with him, and warned me actually not to have any more children, that it would just be really hard on my body. And so I found a new doctor who was positive and optimistic, and on November 2nd of 2010, I went in to have a scheduled C-section, and everything went as planned. It went really well, and the baby was healthy, and I was really happy that that I was alive and well, and I had survived the C-section. But following the delivery, I didn't feel so well. The next day or so afterwards, I noticed that rather than getting more strength, I was feeling weaker, and I was starting to develop a cough, which is normal to have happen sometimes after you have surgery, but it just didn't feel normal to me. And I started feeling achy and short of breath when I would walk around. And then I found out that my C-section incision was infected. So the doctor started me on some antibiotics, and then I ended up going home. And the next day, I felt even worse. It just seemed like the more time that would go by, the worse I would feel. And it was starting to happen really quickly. So it got to the point where I couldn't even change positions nursing, because I wouldn't be able to really catch my breath at all. And so my husband decided to take me to the emergency room. I remember even leaving the house to go to the emergency room, it was such a struggle to just get down the stairs and get my shoes on and get in the car. I just felt like I couldn't even catch my breath to do that at all, and it took me a long time, it seemed like, to get to the car. So when we got to the emergency room, I encouraged my husband to go home because he had all of the kids to take care of, and I didn't really feel like it was fair for him to stay there with a brand new baby and 2 toddlers, and then our older kids we had left at home, but it just didn't seem feasible for him to really be there and in the doctor's way and everything, and having crying babies, that's never fun. So my husband went home after they got me into a hospital room. But as time went on, I just felt like it was getting worse instead of better. So I persistently called the doctors, and finally they came in and had respiratory therapy evaluate me. And let me tell you, when I first got to the hospital, my oxygen was at 30%. So I don't know why it took so long, but finally someone from respiratory therapy realized that I needed to be put in the ICU, so that's where they put me. And I remember thinking, oh good, finally, now they're going to do something about my breathing, because no one had really taken me seriously before. And so I got into the ICU, and they started running tests on my sputum and some other things, and I found out that they couldn't even see my lungs because they were so full of fluid. And one of the things that had prompted me to go into the ER was that when I would breathe, I would have a bunch of fluid come out of my chest, and I was really afraid that I would choke on that while I was sleeping if I did go to sleep. Yet I was so tired that I could hardly even keep my eyes open. So it was pretty scary. When I got in there, they asked me if I had a problem being put on life support if I needed it. And I told them that I didn't need that. But then they said, well, if that's the only option in order to keep you alive, would you be okay with that? And then I said, well, yeah, if that's what you need, then definitely do whatever you need to do to make sure that I get home to my babies. And so at that point, they told me that they needed to put me on life support right away, and that that was the only option in order to keep me alive. And at this point, that's when I really realized that I was really sick. And I knew that I had been really fearful of something like that happening. And I'm a Christian, and I just started focusing on a word that had been spoken over me back in 2006 when I went on a missions trip. And at this point, I only had 2 children. Well, actually, I had 3, but one was in heaven. And so I had my oldest daughter, and then I had a 4-year-old little boy at the time, Brent, who is now almost 10. And I remembered that God had said that He had brought me to El Salvador so that I could understand the full extent of my calling. And that calling that God was talking about was being a mom and raising my children to love and praise Jesus the way that those kids in El Salvador did. They had so much passion, and that was why we went there, was to minister to children. And that was really what God had showed me on that trip, was that my call was a mom, not to, be out in the missions field traveling all over the country. And maybe someday I will do something like that, but for that time and for this time now, my call is to be a mom. And so that was kind of what I had held on to. In fact, that was exactly what I held on to, and just knew that, I had 6 other children, including my stepdaughter at home, to, be a mom to and to take care of, and just minister to and speak into their lives. And so at this point, that was what I held on to, and that's what gave me hope, because how could I leave without finishing that calling? And I just knew that God didn't call anyone else into that position. He called me. And so I just was determined not to let Satan steal that calling from me. So at this point, I ended up really sick. My sister ended up coming to stay with me. I don't really remember a whole lot of anything afterwards. I know that there were some pictures taken while I was in the hospital, and if I had had anything to say about it, I would have never, ever, ever allowed anyone to take any pictures. But it happened, and I'm going to show you the pictures. It might take a minute to focus. That's my new baby. That's my 3-year-old now, or she's almost 3. She was 1 in that picture. She'll be 3 in July. And then that's my daughter Nicole, and then that's a side view, and this is the last picture. So as you can see, I really gained a lot of weight. And when I finally started getting better, which was like the end of November when I finally started getting better, at that point, it was like right before Thanksgiving when I woke up, and I realized I had missed the entire month of November just about. And that was when I really started to realize how much weight I had gained, because I had kind of been in denial the whole time. And what happened was I woke up and came out of my coma and everything, and I tried to get up, and my legs were so heavy it felt like I had lead weights tied around my ankles. And so that is when I realized that I was really heavy. And the doctors told me that if I wanted to get better and I wanted to be around for my kids, then I definitely needed to lose weight. They told me that if I wanted to go home, that I had to learn how to walk. And at this point, they were planning on putting me into a rehabilitation center, and I didn't want anything with it. So my husband did everything he could to reassure them that he could take care of me when I went home, and that I could get lots of rest and not have to do anything around the house because I couldn't. And within a week, I relearned how to walk, and I was able to go home. So when I got home, it was my determination to really focus on losing weight and getting healthy. And at first, I couldn't do hardly anything. I couldn't even go up and down the stairs more than one time a day. I couldn't really take care of the baby except for to hold him and nurse him. And I was able to do that because my sister came and pumped milk for me while I was completely out and sedated and everything. So I'm so thankful for that. And then my baby had some issues with what I was eating, so I had to change my diet due to those issues. And I started getting on a website called bodybuilding.com, and I started just researching what I could take nutrition-wise in order to help me lose weight, and to how to exercise, and how to really use my food as fuel rather than just to satisfy me as being hungry. So, and what I found was amazing. I found so many different ways to utilize your food to help you lose weight and to give your body what it needs. And then I found out about stacking, which is just basically adding the right kind of supplements to your diet in a way that will cause you to lose weight as fast as you can. And tons of bodybuilders do it, tons of pro athletes, people that are really conscientious about their bodies do this. And that's when I found out about the 90-day challenge. And so I've been on the challenge for about a month now, and I've actually been losing close to 1 pound a day, which has just been really amazing. And the thing that's really cool about the 90-day challenge is that this company has gone through and made stacks for every different kind of body type. One thing that's really great is that it's all lactose free, gluten free, wheat free. It's very healthy for you, and you could not, it has meal replacements, and you could not get the nutrition in one of their meal replacements in one, even just a healthy meal that you would make for yourself. It's impossible. So the way that this program works is for 90 days, you pick one of the stacks that would work for you. You go on their website, you figure out which stack would work you want to do for whatever your fitness goal needs are, to run a marathon, to bulk up, to lose a few pounds, whatever lifestyle you have. You find the fitness program that fits for you, and you get on this product, and in 90 days you can drastically see a dramatic change in your appearance. In fact, even in just a week or two, you already start noticing the changes. My husband has already noticed. He's like, oh my gosh, I can throw you on the bed now. And he is very aware of my body changing, which is totally amazing, and I love it. If you go to my website, hitthechallenge.com, you will have an opportunity to look at the different stacks. And there's a box up in the corner. You can send me a message. I would love to hear from you. And connect with me on Facebook, because I'm going to be giving away free product. And I'm going to have contests on there. I'm really excited to help you out and encourage you along the way. And excited to meet you. And I'm definitely going to be giving health tips about things that have worked for me through my whole recovery. Anyways, I hope to hear from you, and I'll talk to you later.